Hello everyone, welcome back to another video from Eddie's World of Figures. Today, I have yet another very special figure that I feel like I've been holding out on you guys for quite some time. But lo and behold, this is the Miles G. Morales, aka the Prowler, from the movie Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And this special figure is actually from Hot Toys. This is my very first Hot Toys. Don't know if it'll be my last. I don't know. We'll definitely see what the future holds for that. But I've always wanted a Hot Toys figure. They've in the past been a little out of my price range, but I love this character so much from the movie that I just had to pick it up. I actually pre-ordered this guy. Honestly, mid 2024. Took some time for me to finally get him in, but I am very happy that I have this guy in hand. And on with the intro now, because I'm really excited to show you guys how this guy is, what he comes with, and everything else that comes to this figure. But that's enough of that. Let's get on with this review. Okay, so I want to start with the box next, and definitely want to mention this is a pretty good sized box. So I've had to kind of scoot my camera back as best I can to kind of get it in the shot a little better. But definitely want to take my time and show you guys just how detailed and gorgeous this box is that this figure came in. Hot Toys, from what I've seen over the years, do some really good box designs, and I really want to show that off here. So in the front, we have a good picture of the figure. We have the name. Scoot this box back a little bit. So we have the name of the character here. This is Miles G. Morales. This isn't the regular Miles Morales that we had, I say had, but saw in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This is alternate version from the universe. So we have the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse at the top here. This is actually, we move this down so you guys can see a little bit. This is actually a Hot Toys special edition. And I'll get into what that special edition actually entails here later on in the video. So we'll turn it to the side here. You have a little more embossing here. Really nice details. And what I like is in this box, they actually have the art style from the movie, but the art style is more reflected on the character itself. And I always liked that about Hot Toys too, growing up. So you have the Prowler symbol, another Miles G. Morales logo at the bottom here. Let me raise the box up. So one thing I want to point out too, you can see if you guys see in the camera, you see the picture of the figure, it actually goes across the box, so it continues on. You guys see that a little better? And look at that nice shine, that metallic shine that you guys are seeing. It's real nice. I'm glad it didn't cheap out in the package either. On the back, you just simply have your usual warning labels, um, your Hot Toys logo, trademarks, things like that, product placement, things like that. There's actually, what I like too is a seal here. So this is authentication seal, let you know this is a real product. It's a license. It's not a bootleg or anything like that. On the other side of the box, you have the same thing. The silhouette, well, picture of the figure continue on the side of the box here, along with the Prowler symbol. You have again on the bottom here, you have the Miles G. Morales name here. So at the top, move this camera here. You guys see? Yes, you have the title of the movie here, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So I'm not sure if my audience is a huge Spider-Man fan, but this particular movie is the second in the movie line. The first one was Into the Spider-Verse. This is the second movie. There's supposedly supposed to be a third. It's supposed to be a Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, but we shall see. I would love to see more of this guy in a movie. Do once one more of a quick showcase of the box, and then we'll move on. Well, the sleeve. This is actually a sleeve. So what I'll do now is show you guys what the sleeve holds. I've actually emptied out what was inside this box, and I'll show that in a second. So there's actually the inner box. Again, it's not as detailed as the sleeve, but right here you still have Miles G. Morales, let you know this particular version of Miles. Right there. So the inner box is a more of a simplistic design, but it on the back it does have some action poses of the figure here. You guys can see. Got the Hot Toys Presents. It's got this little quote here at the bottom. That's pretty cool. Let you guys see that. You can read it. Take a little bit for you guys to look at that. There you go. On the other end, same thing. Miles G. Morales. And that's pretty much it. Just got an open window to show you guys what the contents are of the figure. And that's pretty much it for the box. So now let's move on to the goodies, the accessories. Okay, so now that I have the accessories pretty much out of the box, where you guys can see a little bit better, I do want to go a little bit more in detail of the accessories that come with this guy. So again, comes with his pretty much his slashing effect, well, his kick effect. This goes on the bottom of the foot. Um, this plastic is pretty hard, so do keep in mind that when you're inserting and taking this out, do be very careful, because I haven't had it happen myself, and I hope it never happens to me in my figure collection. But be careful with that peg right there. Those usually are a good point to break right there. And once they break, have fun trying to repair that. And you do have these clear plastic pieces that actually go inside of the glove pieces. You get two of these. Doesn't matter which one you put in either the left or right. They fit either or. Come with a magnet, and I'll show what this magnet does in just a sec. Comes with an additional foot peg, and what this peg does is it actually clips into this effect piece. And again, what I was saying, it is shaped in a way. It's camera in the focus in a little bit better for you guys. There we go. So it is shaped in a way where it only goes in a certain point. Focus here. There we go. So it only goes in one way. Same thing here. So that way you know exactly where it's supposed to go or when to line it up. Here is the special effect piece for the special edition, and this goes on the mask. And I'll show where that goes here. So at the very top, you have my camera fix itself. There's a tiny hole right here, very tiny hole, and there's a very tiny peg. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. Right here, a little tiny white peg there. I personally don't think I'll ever use this effect because of that. I get where they were going with this, but because of this type of plastic, because it's hard, and that tiny peg, I am not about to risk putting this in, taking it out, and if it snaps, I'm going to have a heck of a time trying to get this out. Not only getting it out, but if I want to keep this, repairing it if it does break. So I'm just going to have this back in the package. This is just for my figure. You guys can, use this however you like. This is just my warning for what could happen. Put this figure back here. refocus the camera. There we go. And I do want to show the regular head scope here a lot more carefully. And I like that they put this foam piece here to kind of protect it a little bit better. And it does come with its own neck peg. And if you guys are seeing inside of the head here, there are eyeballs, little plastic pieces here that you can actually rotate these eyes here. And what I like, and just give me 1 second here. What I like is that Hot Toys actually included a tool. So let's say if you want him just in a static face, he's looking at you like, oh, you're in the wrong place, man. You don't need to be here. And you can change this. You can actually remove the peg if you want to get it out of the way. You can take the tool and just move those eyes around, and get different expressions out of this. Unfortunately, this is the only head scope, and I'm not going to spoil the movie or anything like that for who haven't seen the movie, but kind of wish there was probably maybe even a second head scope for more, at least like say a smiling face or just a different expression or something like that. But overall, this is still pretty good for what we get. So I'm not going to complain, especially that you can move the eyes around and give him a little bit more range with the single head scope. But it's a really good accessory that they included. I like that. I'm going to put that back there. Whoops. That's how you notice, like, I'm a real person. I'm not like no AI or anything like that. I'm over here fiddling with my own figure and making this video for you guys. I'm not perfect. Things fall over. I try to fix it best I can. I don't have a huge production or anything like that. So, just a guy who loves figures and just likes to make videos and share it with other people. Not even trying to be big. Oh, there it is, falling again. I might just leave this to the side, but there you go. That's good enough. Yeah, we have the additional. Let me fix. Yep. So we have some additional wrist pegs. So just in case you snap the wrist pegs and like that, I like that they included this. In my previous video, I was not pleased with certain figure with this situation. I wish they would include additional pegs for that, but I will fix that later on. And but all right, so I do want to show you guys the paint cans real quick, a little bit better. So what I mentioned before, the accessory was I like how they really did the paint can, the accessory here. Like they could have just molded a piece of plastic and put a piece of paper on it and bam, call it a day. Same thing with the screaming over here. But no, Hot Toys went even further beyond. Goku was yelling when he was going Super Saiyan 3. Here we go. Fix my camera again so you guys can see. So, both of them, make sure you can hear that, have the rattle noise. Isn't that delightful? Both caps pop off. Has like the little sprayer tip and the color. And it actually has like, I don't know if my camera can pick it up pretty good. Let's see here if I can get this to work correctly. And apologies. I'll give up here in a second if I can't get it to focus correctly so you guys. But it has a little warning label on it, just like an actual can. It has like a little logo there. Sorry if it's a little blurry. But that is so cool. You guys are wondering, same thing on the purple can. I'll show you again. Little warning label. The I guess the brand in this universe of this paint can. That's pretty cool that they did that. They didn't have to, but they did. All right. Again, in the back here, almost done with the accessories, guys. Sorry for taking so long. There's so much in this package. It's just so much to go over. But back here, it actually comes again with the quotes, and you can actually attach that to the backdrop. That's what I'm going to call this. I don't remember the name of this. The backdrop. And you have the little pole accessory back here with the actual real chain. It's pretty cool touch, and it's painted. I forgot to mention that it's real. That's real nice paint there. I like that they did that little touch there. And if you guys are also wondering, that pole back there, and all you do is what I like is you screw it into the base. It actually helps it secure a lot better. But if you want to do some different angles and stuff like that with your shots, move this figure out the way right quick. And this pole here, that's what I'm referring to, this black pole here. I like that it's actually bendable. They actually didn't make it just like a plastic pole or anything like that. It's bendable. And also what I like though as well, if you see up here, there's a little screw right here. You can actually, when you apply the call that this piece here, when you pretty much attach it here, you can tighten it down so that it stays in place. So I like the attention to the sturdiness of this whole thing that they did. I like that. Here's the additional hand. I just brought out a one single hand so you guys can see, the additional detail they did for it. But not sure what this piece does. I will find out a little later. But just want to show you guys that accessory as well. But all right, enough on the accessories. Now I'd like to get into the details of this figure. Now what I want to show you guys is pretty much the details that are in this figure. Now I do want to mention, and I usually point this out in the beginning of my video, but I want to say that now. This figure is quite expensive. Hot Toys are pretty much an expensive line. I'm going to say that right now, okay? So I paid almost $300 for this thing. That's definitely that's up there for a figure. I know that. I know there are other lines out there that were more expensive than this, but the attention to detail that are in this thing, like for one, um, the jacket is real cloth, the shirt's real cloth. Like this fabric, this a lot of this is fabric. The plastic that's on here is real nicely painted. It's all detailed. As you guys can see here, these are like real pants. Now the pocket isn't functional or anything like that, but it's real fabric again. Sorry, just awing over this figure and what they did here. Everything's seamless. You don't really see any joints, so that's one cool feature that I'm getting used to when it comes to Hot Toys. Just how clean everything looks. For one, it's like they took the character right out of the movie and were able to get every single detail. I'm almost going to say perfect, but pretty much astoundingly good. I know I'm using some off the wall words here, but I'm just trying to pretty much just get across just how cool this figure is here. Even with the socks, the socks here has the details from the movie. They could have just left this just like a regular purple color. The shoes themselves have a really cool design to it. You guys can see the pretty much the detail in the shoes here, because in the movie these were I believe Nikes. Focus my camera a little bit. My camera's not liking this at all. There we go. Look at that. They did not have to do this much detail in the bottom of a shoe where you're not really paying that much attention to this at all. But I like how they did the shoestrings and the pack in the back. The gloves themselves. Um, yeah, this is just really nice. Sorry, I'm trying to stay on track here. I'm not trying to be all over the place. And um, I am kind of doing this a little bit different than I normally do my videos, and like kind of how I kind of move through things. But um, this figure is relatively new to me, so I'm kind of just going through this as well with you guys. It's kind of like my first time like really going in depth with this guy. Um, let's see here. Even at the top of the pants here, um, it looks like they use decals. Not only is it just paint, but it looks like they actually use some really good quality decals here. The paint's real good that they applied. One thing I want to show in the mask here, if you take the hairpiece off, and I know it's kind of crazy to look at, but if you take the top of the hairpiece off, they do have a spot where you can put in some cell batteries. So this guy does have light features in him. So I'm going to turn it on now. The little switch in the back here, and his mask does light up. Does it come with batteries? No, unfortunately not. You have to get your own cell batteries. And it does tell you what type of batteries you need so that you can actually do this. Um, Even though the hairpiece does come up, it does sit seamless, so you can't really tell. So I like the way they integrated that design. The one little gripe though, and it's not too big of a gripe, is I wish the collar could have been, I guess, done a little bit better because it does impede the back of the braids just a tad with movement. But other than that, that's really about it. Okay, to the back of the backpack, this part does come off where you can actually turn on the lights here, and I will show that here. So if you plug it in the back of the backpack, his gauntlets do light up. That's a really cool feature there. So you can turn this on and off. There's a switch here. I like that they implemented that as well. See if I turn it off, the lights turn off. And I can turn it on that way. Now the this switch again, it does not control the mask. The head scope has its own set of batteries. The backpack has a set of wires that are running through that powers on the gauntlets on the left hand and the right hand. Just wanted to point that out and clarify. And it does not come with a plug-in, and it's just a regular USB-C. Only thing is about this, do be careful about the backpack because the way they placed it. Not sure what type of bag this is, but the way it's sitting here, because this is hard plastic right here, there's a bit of a rise that you guys can see here. So when you're putting in the plug, do be careful not to put too much pressure or end up breaking the, the end of the cord into the backpack. So be careful of that and mindful. Be careful and mindful of that. So I just want to show that real quick. Put his cover back on. And the backpack itself is also nicely painted. I do like what they did. The backpack does have light up. It doesn't have light up effects, but in the movie, it does have that light contrast to it, where it shows like the backpack has power to it. So I like that they painted that on. Yeah, the overall seamless design where that you don't see any joints. Everything looks like it looks like a little person. Let me say it like that. I guess that's the best way to put this. Hot Toys, sometimes their figures, it looks like you're having like an actual person or character in your hands, and it's like sometimes you can't really tell it's an actual figure. Sometimes I know that's going that's far fetched right there, but it's just how good these designs are with Hot Toys. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that with design real quick. I don't want to spend too much time on that because I got a lot more I want to cover. But let's move on to articulation. So onward to the articulation. His gauntlets do rotate all the way around in 360. So does his glove. As you guys see here. And his fingertips on both hands are fully articulatable. You guys can see here, I can move his pinky all the way in, ring finger, middle finger, index finger, his thumb moves in too. Now do be careful, especially when it's brand new. The joints can be a little tight. So if you're got this guy fresh out the box, be careful, and you might have to apply just a tad bit of oil, just a tad, not much at all, so you don't break the fingertips or anything like that. Let me show you guys over here on his right hand, same thing. Move the fingertips in and out, fully get different poses. Same thing with the thumb. Now I'm not going to move the arms too much because I don't want to mess up the coat. I do see that because of the type of material that's used in certain areas, I'm not saying it's prone to rip, but for the longevity of my figure in particular, I don't want to put stress in certain spots. And I have heard that is kind of a thing to look out for Hot Toys figures, because they go this way in their designs, because they're putting pretty much the fabric or whatever it is on the materials on top of the figure. Um, the materials themselves have a tendency to degrade depending on the type of figure that's been made and who's handling it, where it's been placed. So I'm just going to be mindful of that and be quite careful. So at the bottom of the legs, his knee does bend in that far without being obstructed by the fabric itself. So I'm only going to go that far because I don't want to rip any seams or anything like that, because I do see it kind of bulking up a little bit. Same thing on the left leg here. He goes in that far. That's as far. I'm going to push it without damaging anything. Push it back in. The foot swivel has a little bit of range, not too much, because it does get impeded by the top of the shoe and the tongue. Camera focus in there for you guys to better see. You see there, when you push in on the toe ankle here, not toe ankle, but the ankle swivel itself, it does get impeded by the tongue. Coming back, the back of the shoe stops it. Same thing on the right leg. You guys can see a little bit better here. There you go. Now for whole leg range, his leg goes that far up, which isn't that great, and that's going up safely. I'm sure you can get this figure in more leg range, but you don't want to risk damaging the fabric that's on top of the actual figure. And you do have ratchet joints, as you guys can hear. If you guys can hear that, there you go. So when you do move it, it does lock in place. There you go. Same thing with the right leg, or left leg, sorry. Same amount of range. Move his hand here. Not that great, but it's decent. Going back only goes that far safely. Same thing with the right leg, only goes that far back, again, safely. As you guys see, it's already kind of stretching up the fabric as I'm moving it around. Let's do the waist. The waist has some really good movement. Look there. That's pretty far in. Come up. Look at there. Yeah, that's really good abdomen movement there. Good ab crunch. Looking back. not too great. You guys can see. I'm going to show that a little bit better. It's not that bad. It's not that great. Make that clear. It does have slight rotation. I say slight, but I'm pretty sure you can actually rotate this guy in a full 360. But the way that, again, the fabric is on top of the figure, you do not want to twist this guy all the way around. You risk tearing apart the fabric that's on here. So safely, I'm gonna use that word again, safely, he can turn a little bit to his right that far. And we're gonna turn to his left that far safely. Again, the coat in itself, all this is fabric. You guys can see. Again, I'm only gonna move the arms up that far, which isn't nowhere near a T-pose or anything like that. He does have good elbow range coming in. I say that is about a decent 45. Let's see, move his arm back that far. It's pretty good. Again, I'm trying to be really careful and not mess up the seams here on the coat. This material, it does feel like a false, like a what do you call it? A false leather material. Let's see, coming up, I can only get them up that far without possibly damaging the fabric, which isn't that good at all. Same thing on his left hand or left arm, only that about that far. Elbow does not come in at all, which is what you want it first place with a human being. But let's see the neck range. Looking down, his head does kind of touch his chest a little bit. Looking up, and actually look up really well. Look at there. I see it a little bit better. Take the head scope off carefully. There we go. And I do like what they did with the neck scope here. You can see where the bottom of the shirt, where it's black, and then it's actual neck for like the mask piece. Where they have it like it's just bare skin. I do like that little touch of detail there. I'll touch on that real quick. What I will do real quick, we'll pop on his regular head scope here. And in the mask head scope, it does have a clear neck peg for the light effect. Pop this in. Pretty tight. Pretty tight. Use that in. 1 second. Be right back. This is pretty tight. All right. Got his unmasked head sculpt on now. Let's see if that changes any of the neck range. This is on, and it looks about the same. And of course, the mask, it was touching the chest. He doesn't have the mask on, but as far as like actual range, it's about the same. Oops. And looking up, about the same as well. Not too bad. No. So I would say the articulation with this guy is not the best, but design wise, it's quite amazing. So as far as I would say like this being like an absolute action figure, I'm assuming this is not what Hot Toys is for. And again, I'm new to this line here. It's more of a display piece from what I'm looking at. Get them in certain poses, stuff like that. Put them in a cabinet where it's safe. There you go. And I'm just assuming this is kind of like an expensive trophy what I've gotten, or expensive statue that I can move around every now and then. Might as well say. But am I still happy with this purchase? Yes, I really love this character, and I would not trade this figure in for anything else. Um, yeah, can't complain right now. Can't complain. But enough for articulation. I want to show you guys the actual, I say accessories, but like what the accessories can do, like actually. So that's gonna be the next part here. Let's get on with it. Okay, so I have the magnet here. So what I want to do is I'm gonna show you guys how that works here, right here. So you just simply take the magnet and it takes it out. As you guys can see here, it has a magnet in the piece here. I'm gonna set that right there. Whoop, it's on the magnet again. Set it right there. And I'm gonna grab the other piece here. This piece goes in here. Nope, it's just being tight. So I'm not gonna peg that in all the way because I want to get it out. And I'm gonna put the foot effect here. Let's see here. And again, it only goes in a certain way. So let me make sure I'm getting it in the right way myself here on camera. Let's see here. I believe that's it. Yep. There you go. So it's like now. Getting ready to kick the other mouth in the face. Just bam. Like that's that effect there. Come in. Boom. Sorry, the bottom of the what's called fell out. Let me put that back in. But yeah, I'll put that in a second. Yeah, I just want to show you guys that effect real quick. Look how clean that is and the attention to detail there. Ease this out right quick. Okay, so I've gone and put his mask head sculpt back on, and I've got the special piece here that comes with a special edition. And I'm not going to peg it in because I don't want to risk breaking it into the mask. But what I want to do is I want to at least simulate what this would look like if you guys had it in your figure and you actually applied it. And it's to go with the kicking effect. Like he's pretty much swooshing through the air real quick with that light effect, and that's what it's to simulate. And I just want to show you guys how that would sit. And again, I'm not going to peg it in. I don't want to risk breaking that little tiny peg into the mask. I don't want to fight that, but just wanted to show that to you guys as well. And what I'm going to do is, as well, I'm going to remove his gauntlet and show you guys here. Moved it. And all you do is just simply pull outwards this way, and it slides in like this on the wrist peg here. It pops in like that. It's pretty smooth, so no need to be afraid to break this thing. So again, you just ease it off like so. And again, if you do somehow break the wrist peg, again, this figure does come with additional pegs to replace the broken ones. Again, I like that they included that. But I'm gonna pop on the hand sculpt here, like so. And what I want to show you guys real quick is pretty much, I lost a piece. There it is. Nope, I found it. Okay, so there's a clear, looks like a cup with a little peg at the bottom, and this is for the glove. So what you do is slide it in the first upper sleeve. We'll pop top of the gauntlet, and we're gonna take other end of the piece, and you're gonna pretty much peg it into the glove. And I'm gonna ease it in there. Be quite careful here because I don't want to break this thing. I clear plastic, quite fragile. I'm gonna say that right now, and I'm just being really careful here with everything because I'm not gonna display mine like this. I'm not gonna push it all the way in because I didn't want to ease it back out. But pretty much what this is to simulate is this guy holding his glove like so. You guys can see here. That's pretty cool. They included that. Make it look a little better. I'm gonna pop off his mask piece again, and pop in head sculpt here. Just a second. Yep. And again, it's be careful with this because all joints are quite tight. Pull his neck down a little bit. All right. All right. After wrestling with it for just a tad, managed to get his regular head pack on. You guys can see there. Have his glove off while he's holding it. It's pretty cool. I just want to show that. Whoa! Where do you think you're going, sir? And the balance of this guy is it's pretty decent, but be careful when you're displaying him. Make sure he's standing up correctly because he will topple over. He does not have any ankle swivel to left and right. It's just back and forth. All right. All right. So what I want to do now is pretty much move on to my final thoughts for this guy, and pretty much give you like an honest rating here. But yeah, on to my final thoughts here. Now, for the price was pretty steep. I mean, but what would you expect from a Hot Toys figure? Um, Being almost $300. I'm not sure where he's at right now, but um, if you manage to get this figure for a good price at this day and age, I say get him. If you can fit him in your collection, I would honestly give this figure a solid 7.5 out of 10. That's my rating right there. Be so much higher if the articulation was way better than what it is. But I do understand what they were trying to do and the compromises they had to take in order to even get this figure where it's at. Aesthetically, this figure is amazing. This is Miles G. Morales himself from the movie. Like, it's pretty cool. As far as like trying to be an actual action figure, this is not it. But I'm new to this Hot Toys line, and I'm assuming this is pretty much what it is that you're paying for. You're pretty much paying for, I guess, sort of like a statue, but not a statue, a posable statue that has a lot of extra accessories and details with it that you can change around every now and then. That's what I'm getting here. The base is amazing. You get the actual name of the character, the not only the name, but what line this figure came from. So this is again Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the movie. Um, I just like, and I'm gonna go back here. I do like again the attention to detail that was taken in this figure. I do like the way the light effects were implemented, especially with the mask and the way the gauntlets work. I do like that a lot. And I do like that they implemented a second head scope that you can actually see Miles without the mask, and you can actually move the eyes around. That's another good, cool touch. But yeah, again, awesome figure for this. Would this be my last Hot Toys figure? I'm not sure. If they make another character that I really like maybe even Goku. If they make Goku or somebody else in this that I just like, I might go this route again. I might. I don't know, but we'll see. But that's enough of that ramble there. Until next time, guys. Um, Again, if you like my content, please be sure to subscribe and be sure to like the video, as this does help the algorithm with YouTube and help get my content out there so others can see. I've noticed a lot of times that, especially when it comes to new YouTubers, our content isn't really pushed out because you got bigger names than us. But um, that helps me out a lot, getting it out there, because I do honestly want people to see my review, because I'm being honest about it. I'm not sponsored in any type of way. This is my money that I'm spending in these figures, and so there's no biasness in this. I'm not using that word correctly. There's none of that. There's nobody holding my hand like, oh, you got to say this, and that's it. Like, no, if I don't like a figure, I'm gonna straight up tell you I don't like it. If it's good, I'm gonna straight up tell you it's good in my opinion. But again, it's enough of that ramble. Until the next video, I'll talk to you guys later, and take care.